Hello guys, welcome to Koa Academy, and in this video we'll be talking about 7 things which you may not know about the second American president, that is John Adams. So let's start. Number 1. Adams defended British soldiers after the Boston Massacre. Although Adams joined with the Sons of the Liberty in objecting to what he believed was unfair taxation by the British government, the principled attorney believed in the primacy of the rule of law. After the killing of 5 colonists in the March 1770 Boston Massacre, Adams volunteered to represent the 9 British soldiers charged with manslaughter to ensure they received a fair trial. Adam argued that the soldiers fired in self defense against a motley rabble and surprisingly won acquittal for 7 of the defendants, including the British officer in charge, Captain Thomas Preston. The 2 soldiers convicted of manslaughter were branded on their thumbs but avoided prison sentences. Number 2. He was a great pen pal. The erudite Adams was a prolific writer of letters to friends and family. A devoted husband, Adams exchanged more than 1100 correspondences with his wife, Abigail, since his patriotic duties often called him away from home for extended periods of time. Luckily for historians, most of the letters between the Adams have been preserved in archives. In contrast, only 3 letters written by George Washington to his wife Martha have survived. Number 3. Adams was the principal author of the oldest written constitution still in use in the world. Adams drafted the Massachusetts Constitution, which was approved by voters in 1780 and is still in effect today. The document's structure of chapters, sections, and articles served as a model for the United States Constitution, and its Declaration of Rights itemized individual liberties such as freedom of the press and freedom of worship that were later enshrined in the Federal Bill of Rights. Number 4. Adams was the first president to live in the White House. When President Adams arrived in Washington, D.C. from Philadelphia on June 3, 1800, the new national capital was very much remained an active construction zone. The President's house, later known as the White House, remained far from completion, so Adams was forced to reside in temporary quarters. When the president finally moved into White House on November 1st, 1800, the mansion still reeked of wet plaster and paint fumes. Fireplaces roared in every room to combat the cold and dampness, and the First Lady, that is Abigail, used the unplastered East Room to hang the presidential laundry. Defeated in the 1800 election, Adams lived in the White House for barely more than 4 months. Number 5. Adams participated in what may have been the nastiest presidential campaign in American history. Modern day mudslinging had nothing on the dirt thrown in the 1800 presidential election between Adams and the sitting Vice President Thomas Jefferson. While the Federalist Adams believed in a strong centralized government and the Republican Jefferson favored states' rights, the debate went beyond policy differences to personal attacks. Campaign propaganda, paid for by Jefferson, charged that Adams was a hideous hemophroditical character who smuggled prostitutes into country from England and planned to marry one of his sons to a daughter of King George III to establish a royal bloodline in his family. The president's supporters called Jefferson a coward, French radical, and infidel who would seize the country's Bibles and allow the refuse of Europe to flood American shores. Abigail Adams lamented that the campaign had produced enough women to ruin and corrupt the minds and morals of the best people in the world. Number 6. Adams died on the same day as Thomas Jefferson. Once fellow patriots and then bitter rivals, Adams and Jefferson revived their friendship after their White House days. Perhaps fittingly, the two Declaration of Independence signatories both died 50 years to the day after the document's adoption in July 4, 1826. On his deathbed, the 90 years old Adams whispered, "Thomas Jefferson survives." It wasn't the case though. 5 hours earlier, the 83-year-old Jefferson had died at Monticello. With the deaths of Adams and Jefferson, only one signatory of the Declaration of Independence, Charles Carroll, remained alive. Number 7. Jefferson wanted the president to be addressed as His Highness. The debate on how to properly address George Washington consumed Congress in the weeks after the 1789 inauguration. Adams, who presided over the Senate as the vice president, felt the office required a grand title to convey power on par with the royal courts of Europe. He scoffed that fire companies and cricket clubs had mere presidents and that Washington should be called His Majesty the President or His Highness the President of the United States of America and the protector of the rights of the same. To many Americans who had just rid themselves of a monarch, the titles were too royal, and Congress agreed that Washington's title should simply be the President of the United States. Opponents of the plump Adams seized on his titular suggestions to mock him as His Rotundity. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed these 7 amazing facts about the second President of the United States, John Adams. If you want to watch more videos on US history, then do subscribe to the channel and don't forget to like and share the video. Thank you.